All right, good evening and welcome to Daf Yomi, Maseches Megillah, Daf Ches. It's a cold day here, close to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Not snowing, but it's raining, pouring today. I had a bris of my nephew, not a bris, yeah, a bris of my nephew. In the morning, his name is Shlomo Yoel, same as my son, named after the same person, my father-in-law. I don't know if we'll be able to Makayim today the Chatzis Shir. I said that I'm only going to do the Chatzis Shir of drinking, half a Shir, because there's Zechira and Asiya. You're learning Masechah Megillah is not Purim. If I have someone to drink with, you want to drink with me? Or tell you me? Were you on the other video? He was one of the people that refused in my other shiurim, so I guess I'm not going to even try a second time with him. A Jew turning down schnapps. Can you believe it? What the world has come to? All right, we'll start from the top of Chedam and Aleph here. Ein bein hamudar hana mechaver lemudar mimenu meichel. There's no difference between someone takes a neder that he's not going to benefit from somebody, or if you take a neder, I'm not going to benefit food-wise from somebody. The only difference is when it comes to taking a shortcut through the guy's property or borrowing or using utensils that are not involved in food making, like a vacuum cleaner or what else is smartphone. All right. Whereas Inyan Kalim, shows them an Ochel Nefesh, that is a Shavan. In regards to Kalim that do make Ochel Nefesh, that are involved in food preparation, let's say a stove, an oven, a fridge, a freezer, those things, you would be usher even if you said you're no dermeno Michael, because that's part of Michael. Jesus Regal. So the Gemara says two things that aren't included if you say no dermeno Michael, food related benefits. Jesus are regal. So the Gemara says, "Halo kapti inshi." Even if you say your mudar nami chavero, without saying related to food, you should still be allowed to cut through his yard. People don't care about this. Interesting, people don't care. Some people do care. Amar Rava Hamani Reb Lezer, who is the author of this our Mishnah? It's Reb Lezer. Amar Vitor Asr b'mudar navi. Vitor is something which is not doesn't have direct financial value. It's an asset which is like, I think the article says, a gratuity, something nice that a seller adds to the buyer's purchase as a way of showing him that he's happy that he bought from him. I guess gratuity would be a tip or something like that. Is that considered a tip? Is that considered hana, or is that considered to be not hana? And Relezer's the opinion, just regal is similar to a gratuity. It's not really, doesn't have financial value. You're not going to charge someone for walking through your field or your backyard, but it has value as a tip, a nicety, a tip that you do for somebody. Okay, so the Mishnah says, next Mishnah, Ein bein nedarim l'nedarim ela shenedarim chayev b'achriyuson. Nedarim you're responsible for, meaning we'll see if they get lost. All right, Neil, you want to drink with me? Did I ask you also? Whoa, that's a nice laugh. Look at this. Where is he? I have to get that laugh again. Where's that laugh? There's a laugh. All right. Why are you laughing so hard? You don't want to drink with me? You sure? I have two shots left.
Very nice offer. I'm just very impressed with your
Arnelik is Torres Moshe, from Torres Moshe, part of the staff there. He refused to drink with me because they made a kol kore in the yeshiva. They said it is absolutely forbidden, all unanimously by all the rabbanim, to drink with Ben Zion Lang. He's going down the wrong road. If you drink with him, worse things will come. Right? Is that what they said, Renelik?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. They didn't ban me in Torres Moshe yet. I'm not banned in Torres Moshe yet. All right, that's good news for today. Something to make a l'chaim for. But again, I need someone to drink with. So I'm going to wait till someone walks in here and actually drinks with me, hopefully during the share. I have my shot glasses, 2 shot glasses ready. And I have my Glenlivet ready. When they come, we'll have fun. All right. It reminds me of the Dr. Seuss book, The Cat in the Hat. I read to my kids about the rainy day, and the cat came in and it made it fun for them. I'm waiting for the Cat in the Hat to come and make it interesting over here. What? Have a drink with me, exactly. That's like the adult version of the book. In the kid version of the book, the guy, he makes a mess over there in the house. But in the adult version of the book, he drinks schnapps while learning Megillah. Maybe we'll call Dr. Seuss and ask him to write. What's it called when you write another book after the first one? And thought, what is it? What is that called? You write one book and then you write another book after that.
A sequel.
Sequel. There you go. The sequel. That's the word I was looking for. A sequel of Dr. Seuss for grown-ups. Come drink with Benzi Lang. On a rainy day, you come in and he lets you drink with him. All right. The Darim, you're responsible. We'll see if they get lost. You pledge a korban to the base of Mikdash. If it gets lost or it gets stolen, you have to replace it. In Davos, if you say in Davos, the difference we'll see is if you say Hare Alai or Hare Zu. Hare Zu. If you say this is a korban, that's a Davos. It's a gift offering. Hare Alai is a neder. Davos Eino Chai B'Chrus, you're not responsible for them. The Gemara says, how the Inyan Balta Acher Zev Zeh Shavim. When it comes to Balta Acher, we learn in Maseches Rosh Hashanah that you have 3 regalim to bring your korban once you already pledged it. It applies to both of them. We learned in a Mishnah, what's considered a neder? Omer Harei Alai. Ola. He says, it's upon me to bring an Ola. Ezu Nadav. What's considered a Nadav? Omer Harei Zu Ola. He says, this is a korban Ola. Ma bein Nadar and Nadav. What's the difference between the two? Practical difference. If they died or stolen or lost, you have to replace them. You're now responsible. Where do we know this difference from? This is talking about a korban ola. Rabbi Shimon Omer, he's about this pasuk. It says the word olav. Now, another you say the word alai, so olav, upon you. Then you're responsible. But in that pasuk is talking about olav. You have to, no matter what it takes, you have to achieve atonement. You have to bring a korban. It's only when you say olav. How is this borne out in the words? Amar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rav Dimi came on the Amar Allah. Once you say the word Allah, command the Talian akatfe dami. Once you say Arei Allah in Ola, it's like you took the animal and put it on your shoulders, meaning you're responsible to make sure that a korban is brought. The Mishnah says, "Emein zav haroah shtei re'iyos haroah shalosh ela korban." A zav is someone who sees seminal emission. If you see it 2 days in a row or twice in one day, that's considered a zav shtei re'iyos. If you see it 3 days in a row or twice in one day and one on the second day, you're considered shalosh re'iyos. The difference between the two is a korban. Bringing a korban, you have to bring a korban. Shalosh re'iyos has to bring a korban to atone, to achieve atonement. How the Inyan Mishka of Moshe, the Gemara says, is Shiva Zev is a Shavin. In regards to being metame, something that you sit on or you ride on, in terms of counting 7 days and then going to the mikvah, both of them are Shava. Even if you shtei re'iyos, these apply to you. Minani that we already know. Shamtan Rabbanan, Rabbi Simai Omer, says, Mana kasu shtayim v'karo tameh v'shalosh v'karo tameh. There's 2 different psukim that talk about a zav, and they both call him tameh. So Rabbi Simai says one's talking about shtei re'iyos, and one's talking about shalosh re'iyos. Okay, so shtayim l'tumah v'shalosh l'karban. Shtayim has 7 days of tumah, and then he goes to the mikvah. Shalosh, not only is he tummy for 7 days, but also he has to bring a korban at the end of those 7 days. The Amar Shtayim l'tumah v'lo l'karban, shalosh l'karban v'lo l'tumah. Say that we say there's 2 psukim. So one pasuk, 2 riyos, it says you're tamei, but you don't have to bring a korban. And shalosh, you bring a korban, but you're not tamei. The Gemara says it can't be possible. Amar ajla rush, shalosh rush daim. If you see 3, then of course you saw 2. So whatever applies to someone who saw 2 has to apply to someone who saw 3. Ve'emer shtayim lekarban lo tuma, shalosh af tuma. So you're right. Say that shtayim brings a korban, but it doesn't have 7 days of tuma. Shalosh has 7 days of tuma and a korban. And where's the los? I don't think this is Tanya. V'chiper olav akohen lifnei Hashem mizovo. Says from a zav. Mixa zavin. This is supposed to bring a korban. Mixa zavin. Mizovo is a miyut. Mixa zavin being korban. Mixa zavin ain't being korban. Some zavin bring a korban, some don't. Hot case. A rosh shalosh maybe. Shtayim ain't no maybe. You saw 3 times bring a korban, 2 you don't bring a korban. The Bryce says maybe the opposite logic. Oh, Allah rosh shtayim maybe ra, maybe you bring a korban. Rosh shalosh ain't no maybe. 3 times you don't bring a korban. Amar ashalo ra shalosh rosh shtayim. You saw 3, of course you saw 2. So whatever someone who has 2 has to do, someone who sees 3 has to do also. You need both Rabbi Simai's limud from the fact it says zav, 2 psukim out of zav. Yitzrich mizovo, you need the miyud of zovo, you need both of them. Even the Rabbi Simai, if we just taught the teaching of Rabbi Simai with Hava Mina Kikushya, would have said maybe 2 is unique in that he brings a korban without the tuma, and 3 is tuma and a korban. Kamashma mizovo. Therefore, you say mizovo that mix of zav and the korban is not for everybody. It's only for 3 riyos. Mizovo. If you said mizovo, lo yadana kama riyos. If you said mizovo, I wouldn't know how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kamashmalan. Rabbi Simai tells you zovo. It says the word zav twice. It calls it tame twice. Once for 2 emissions. A second time for 3 emissions. Now we learn mizovo. The mem teaches mizovo is for a drasha. V'chitar azam mizovo, a different pasuk. My darshan pay once the extra mem is a drasha. What is this second pasuk? What are we going to darshan it for? The Gemara says we buy the Tanya for the following brayso. V'chitar azam l'chshayiv sok mizovo. The Gemara darshans the whole pasuk. V'chitar azam when the zav becomes tar. When does it become tar? When he stops seeing seminal mission, mizovo, v'lo mizovo v'minigo. This is the Iker Joshua. Mizovo tells you from he can go to the mikvah already. Once he's seeing, if he's a zav and he's a tsaras, he has saras, mitzora. He has both at the same time. So once he has 7 days, 7 days of tara where he doesn't see emissions anymore, he can go to the mikvah and whatever tumos that applied for a zav don't apply anymore once you go to the mikvah, even though he's metzora. V'siper mizova v'siper, the third drush on the pasuk. Limit al zav bal sheiro shaton sfiras shiva. Mizova v'siper tells you that, right? We didn't know this before. And it tells us that even 2 riyos needs, you have to count 7 clean days. V'alo dinu before you go to the mikvah. V'alo dinu. The Gemara says, isn't that logical? Imit time mishka moshav lo yiton sfiras shiva. He's so chomer, zav bal shtei riyos, we know from other psukim, he's matame, what he sits on and what he rides on. So certainly he should be tame for 7 days. Why do you need a pasuk drasha to tell me that? The Gemara on Cheramad Beis says, Shomeres yom keneged yom tochiach. No, because we have reasoning the other way. Shomeres yom keneged yom is referring to a woman who's a zava. She sees blood 1 day during her period of being a zava and not being a nida. She sees 1 day, so she can count 1 day and she can go to the mikvah that day. She is chomer in that she is stringent in that what she is matami something, what she sits on or rides on. But she can go to the mikvah the next day. She doesn't have to wait 7 clean days. And you shouldn't be amazed. So here also, by a zav bal sheiros, a man who sees a seminal mission bal sheiros, lo yeton sfira shiva. So he also should need 7 clean days. Talmud Lomar, mizova v'sifer, mixa zova v'sifer, limen al zav bal sheiros, sheton sfira shiva. It's not, therefore the pasuk tells me it includes a zav bal sheiros that he needs 7 clean days as opposed to a zava who's shomeres yom keneged yom. I'm later pabal abai, ma'ishna hai mizova demarbi bey. Zav bal sheiros. Ma'ishna hai mizova demarbi bey zav bal sheiros. Now it's the same drasha, same word, mizovo. So we thought originally mizovo is the first drasha is to exclude certain zavim, right? If he's a zav bal sheiros, he doesn't bring a korban. only 3 rios brings a korban. And the second Drush Mizovo V'Siper teaches me that he's included, that he needs to count 7 clean days. So why is one excluding and one is including? They should both be the same idea. Maishna Haim is over the Marbe Zabal Shiro. So Maishna Haim is over the Marbe Zabal Shiro. Tamarle, if you'll tell me the second one is to exclude Zabal Shiras from 7 clean days, there's no reason the Torah should have mentioned with a mem. Maybe, and you'll tell me I could have learned it from logic. You couldn't have learned it from logic because Shemeres Yom Keneg Yom, which is some time Moshe of a Mishkav, still should not be time of 7 days. Maybe you'll tell me that Mizovo is not to connect it to V'Siper, tell you need 7 clean days. Rather, it's to tell you the first Josh of the pasuk that even if you're a Mitzora and you're a Zav, you can do your Tara from Zivus and still have Saras, but you'll be Tor for certain things that a Zav makes Tameh. Imkin Lichtov Krav V'Chiyitar Hazav V'Lishtov. Could have said it. Could have learned to say V'Chiyitar Hazav. That would have that extra word V'Chiyitar Hazav would have said Mizovo V'Lo Minigo Lishtov Mizovo, and didn't have to say the mem. Lama Limit Al Zav Bal Shtei Riyos Shaton Sfira Shiva. Therefore, it says Mizovo to teach you to include a Zav Bal Shtei Riyos that he needs 7 clean days before he goes to the mikveh. The Mishnah, Ein bein Masora Muskar, the Masora Mukhlat. There's no difference in a Masora. Masora is someone who has saras. He has some white spot on his skin. A Muskar is somebody that it's suspicious whether it's considered a white spot that makes you tameh or not, and the Kohen's not sure, so he puts him in isolation. Everyone knows these days, you're familiar with isolation. I think Israel just enacted a new law now that if you come back from America, it's back to 7 days of isolation. Took a pandemic to learn about Hilchos Saras. They should stop teaching Yavamos or Kedushin. They should learn Meseches Negoim. Negoim talks about Saras. We should be learning Maseches Negoim now. I think it's appropriate. We should make a call to all the Rosh Yeshivas. It's time to learn Maseches Negoim because, it's periods of isolation over here, quarantining. Someone never even would have thought about these things, these concepts of Haras, if we didn't have COVID. What do you think about the idea, Rabbi Nelik? Negoim in the yeshivas. No more Kedushin, no more Baba Kama. Only.
It's just this nice. It's not going to be so exciting.
It's not exciting. Mesachas Negoim. I don't really know too much about Mesachas Negoim. There's one famous Mishnah that says a person can't see Nigei Atzma or something like that. A Kohen, if he has saras, he can't see his own. He can't determine whether it's saras or not because a person can't see his own faults. That's why I learned from this Mishnah. That's why when I go to clothes shopping, I ask my wife to help me pick out good clothes for me because you can't really tell. You see how you look. A man can't tell how he looks. He needs a woman to tell him how he looks. That's the truth. That's what I learned from that Mishnah. And maybe you could teach the Yeshiva Bachram also. If you want to look good, you got to ask your wife, Avreichim, the Bachram, when they go on dates, they should ask their dates if they look good or not. Alright, people in this room, I don't know, they probably smile, spark when they hear what I say, but, that's me. Alright. So, a Masorah Muskar is someone who is confined, he's in isolation. He's waited 7 days to find out if he really has Saras. A Masorah Mukhlat is someone who's identified as someone who definitely has Saras. The Kohen identifies him as Savadai Saras. And therefore he has to isolate until he's clean from the Saras. El Priya Prima. The only difference between the two is Priya and Prima, that if you're Mukhlat, if it's completely decided that you're a Masorah, you have to grow your hair long, can't get a haircut, and you have to rip your clothes. Like Avelos. Similar, there's a difference also when the Kohen comes and tells you that either your undecided period is over or your decided period is over. The only difference is tagalach of siporim. You have to shave your hair if you became tor from being decidedly a Masorah. You're a Masorah Vadai, and then you came out. Your lesion went away. So then you have to shave your head, and you have to bring korban involving two birds. All right. If you want to learn more about those birds, learn Maseches Nagoyim or go to Yeshivas Chevron. I hear they took my advice, learning Maseches Nagoyim, not for the Kayas, man. Right now, starting tomorrow. All right, Halinian Shiluach V'Tuma. The Gemara says Halinian Shiluach V'Tuma Zevazeh Shavin, both in regards to sending away a Mitzorah from the camp of Israel, out of Yerushalayim, the Tuma, and they're both Tameh. They go into a house, they're Matame the house, Tiyun Bia, Matame whatever in the house. Zevazeh Shavin, both a Mitzorah Muskar and a Mukhlar are the same. Benanim Yili, how do we know this? I don't know. Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Hamed Rav Huna, B'Tiro Akoin Mispachasi. Chibis begada v'tiher. Tahor mipriya o prima de mikara. V'tiher is lashon. It's of the past. He'll be tahor from something which happened in the past. It means there was something that happened. We're talking here about mukhlat, someone who has decided that he was definitely a mitzorah vad, for sure mitzorah. So he's tahor from something. What is that something? Then now he doesn't have to grow his hair long. He can cut his hair and he doesn't have to rip his clothes. I mean, Amalei Rava, Elameata Gabe Zav. If you can lose the same logic, what about a zav? This is the word v'tir by a zav. Hasam I v'tir mikara iko. What is if he matar himself that originally applied to him? Ella tor hashtam latami klicheret. V'tir doesn't really mean from what happened in the past. It just means that you're tor now from being matame klicheres beheset. One of the chumras of a zav is that even if he carries something, a klicheres, an earthenware kli, even though he doesn't touch it, if he carries it, he's matame. Avagav the hadar chazi lo matame lemafrei. Even though he cleared himself, he wasn't a zav anymore. He went to the mikvah, and then, or he started counting, and then he saw another emission, and he touched klicheres beheset, carried a klicheres in the middle. It's lo matame lemafrei. It means v'tir means that lemafreya it won't go back to being tummy. Achanami tor hashtam latami v'biyah lemafreya. So too, that's what it should be telling you, that if you're a Masorah, which is a mukhlat, and it was decided that you don't have saras anymore, and then you went into a house, and then afterwards they found out that you still do have saras. When you went into the house, you were matami the things in there. El amarava mahacha. So Rava says really, where we know the halakha in our Mishnah from the following pasuk: Sarua sherbo hanega, the sarua sherbo hanega, that he has the nega in him. Mishasaras tluya begufo. Saras, it's totally in his body, that it's for sure in his body. A mukhlat. Yatzazesh ein saras tluya begufo ela biyamim. Muskar, someone who's in isolation, right, or quarantine, right? He came into contact with someone who had COVID. We're not sure if he has COVID or not. He didn't do the COVID test, so. So that's tluya begufo. Tluya begufo, he had definitely had a white spot on his skin. Yamim is someone who's in isolation. Amalei Abayel Ma'ata Kol Yemei Asher Anega Bo Yitma Misha Sarasa Tluya begufo Who the Ton Shiluach V'Shein Sarasa Tluya begufo Ein Ton Shiluach. The pasuk also says Bo, and that's talking about Shiluach, about sending him out of the camp outside of Machane Yerushalayim. Maybe you'll say this is true. There's no difference between the two. Ela prio prima, except the only difference is cutting your hair and ripping your clothes. But both of them are required to go out of Yerushalayim. Amarle, so he says back to him, Yemei kol Yemei l'rabba. It says the word kol, could have said Yemei kol. The actual word the rabba masora muskar l'shiluach. Tell you, Masorah Muskar is included, he has to go out of Yerushalayim. Mihachi, Tagalach of Siporim, my time alone. If you're including him from Kol Yemei, so you should include a Muskar also for Tagalachat, for shaving his head after he gets released from his isolation. Siporim, we should bring a carbon of two birds. The Kasani, it says, Ein Bein Torah mitoch Heskel, Torah mitoch Hechlet, al Tagalach of Siporim. We see that there is a difference in the two, but according to this logic, it should apply to Muskar also. Amar Abaye Amar Kra V'Yasa Kohen El Michutz LaMachane V'Hinei Nirpa Nega Hatzaras. This is talking about Shiluach Ben Al-Machane, going out of the camp, and it's talking about also about bringing the carbon of the Siporim, the birds. It says nirpa negasaras. It was healed in negasaras. Mishras tliva refuos. Yatzeh shein saras tliva refuos ela biyomim. It must be this pasuk is only referring to someone who's mukhlar. He for sure had saras, because that's called a refuah. You only have a refuah if you had the saras. If you have the lesion, the white lesion, it's vadai a white lesion, and then it becomes healed. But if you were just unsure whether you had it, you was in isolation, you're not sure whether you had, it was a suffix, so that's not called a refuah. It's called a biyomim, just counting days. All right, so the shir is over now. I have no one to drink with today, so I'm gonna have to drink tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.